Good afternoon once again and welcome to my channel Tech Bandela, and today we are going to study the gas welding. So my dear students, gas welding, as the name indicate, the gas welding, here we are using oxyacetylene gas. Now you can see that there are two types of cylinders here, that is, one is the brown color cylinder and another is black color cylinder. So here the color code is given to identify which is oxygen cylinder and which is your acetylene cylinder. So acetylene cylinder is always coated in maroon color, whereas the oxygen cylinder is always colored in black color, so that the layman can also identify which is the oxygen cylinder and which is acetylene cylinder. Every cylinder has you can pressure gauges which shows the pressure inside the cylinder, and via which they are attached to the house. These are the flexible rubber house which are attached to the your metal gun. So here the metal torch is made up of brass, and this torch consists of a mixing chamber. This torch consists of a mixing chamber in which we can mix the appropriate amount of acetylene and oxygen. So we can vary the mixture of acetylene and oxygen and get different types of flames. So here welding is done. So in this welding you can see that this is the systematical diagram. You can see this is the nozzle. In this nozzle there is a mixture of acetylene plus oxygen. The molecular weight of acetylene is 26.04 grams per mole, right? And here you can see that this acetylene, having two acetylene molecules, is holding one hydrogen molecule from this side and another hydrogen molecule from this side. Okay, construction, you can see that this is a torch, this is a brass torch, and inside it is a hollow passage from which the C2H2 plus oxygen comes. Okay, now this is the base metal, and this is the your filler rod. Now you can see that this filler rod have in the center of this filler rod hatching line, you can see that this is the same material as that of your base material, and the green lines that is nothing but flux coated powder. So here generally we use flux coating, right? So what is the use of flux is, first, to remove the oil and dust particles which are available on the base metal, otherwise they will act as residuals. And next part of this flux powder is to create a shielding, over this air, over this molten pool, so that atmosphere air should not rush during the molding, or during the welding. So what happens if atmosphere rush during this welding process? It will take oxidations. Due to this oxidation, what happens? Air bubbles will trap in this welding. And due to that, this welding may become weaker. So you can see that this is the welding torch, this is the flame, this is the molten pool, where due to the highest temperature, whenever two gases comes together and they are enlightened with a lighter, it nearly produces 3200 degrees centigrade temperature. And you can see that the steel can melt up to a temperature of 1500 degrees centigrade. So for operating with other types of material, we can use instead of acetylene, we can use propane, hydrogen, coal gas for low melting metal also. So for for gas welding of low melting metals, we can also use propane gas, we can use hydrogen gas and coal gas, right? So here in this figure you can see that the direction of welding is in direction, means the torch is moving from right to left. And you can see that whenever the torch is hitting to the base metal, due to the tremendous heat of 3200 degrees centigrade, the base metal gets somewhat melted, or it gets fused. And whenever the flux electrode or the filler rod comes in contact with this hot temperature, it melts and deposit over the welded zone. So here you can see that the torch is moving from right to left, and after cooling you can see that these are the solidified weld material, which is depositing over this base metal, and getting the after cooling it gets solidified, and two metal pieces are joined. So here you can see that what is meant by oxy fuel welding or oxyacetylene fuel welding is the cutting. It is used for cutting it is a welding used for cutting the process that can be used fuel gases and oxygen to weld and cut. So here we can use for welding also, and we can use for cutting also. In most of the fabrication work we use this combination of both gases for welding and for cutting. Who developed it? The first French engineer Admiral Foch and Charlie Picard became the first who developed the oxyacetylene welding. So these are the two French engineers who firstly brought this gas welding into the manufacturing technology, right? So gas welding, now we have learned that gas welding. Here talking about acetylene, oxyacetylene gas. So acetylene is always filled in maroon color, oxygen is filled in black color. These are the flexible houses given to a torch, brass torch. The brass torch consists of a mixing chamber. There are two nozzle control units. According to that control unit we can mix the oxygen and acetylene. So here we are using the flux powder, filler rod, and this filler rod consists of a flux powder which is used for shielding as well as to remove the dirt and oil from this base metal. So this is nothing but this is the short description of your gas welding. Hope you understand. Any queries we will see in next video.